Salutations, denizens of the internet. If you haven't been paying attention lately, I've really been getting into Metal Cardbot, an awesome series of transforming toy robots from South Korea. And while I've had a blast reviewing the figures and displaying them on my shelves and playing around with them, I also can't deny that I've had a small issue with them. Or rather, the storage method for each of their unique accessories, the metal card. As you can see, not only do I have a sizable collection of cardbots, but I also like to display them with these metal card weapons equipped. And you want to know what that leaves the cards themselves doing?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
That is, unless you consider them sitting around in a big old pile something, but let me tell you, I don't. Now, there is a roleplay item that the metal cards are meant to interact with, the metal brace, or breath, but there's two problems with that. For one, it's not out where I live yet, and two, that literally does nothing to solve the issue of having nowhere to store the cards when I'm not using them. But here's the thing. I have a 3D printer and a basic understanding of how to model objects on Blender. When I'm faced with a problem like this, such as not having a place to shove all the hands for my Iron Factory figures, I come up with one. I've even designed and 3D printed fully articulated power core combiner limbs. So you'd think this would be easy for me, but no. Developing a metal card carrier has been fraught with difficulties. My initial idea for the whole design was quite complex, as you would lift up the lid and that would spin a gear that would then push down a rod that would then turn another gear, which would then push forward a little stick with a wedge on the end of it, which would then push up little individual slots to hold the cards. Honestly, this original idea seemed like it would be more trouble than it would be worth to make, so I just simplified it down to having an opening lid. I would come to regret that. I printed the initial design in 4 parts. One main body that would carry the metal cards without their weapons on, a faceplate with one of the metal cardbot insignias on it, and 2 struts that would attach to this faceplate in order to give the design a lifting lid. I finished up all of the initial designs for the parts and then made them into G-code files so I could print them out as soon as possible, and I thought everything would turn out great. Except no, nothing's ever that simple, is it? My initial design for the struts was way too long. There was too much friction generated by the length, and so I had to make it shorter because it was easier to break it off than to take it off. For 2, I left a big enough gap in the back of the lid that the backmost card being stored in the box will fall out. And for 3, making the slots static objects ensures that the lid won't actually hold them in place. Does this mean I plan to give up on the idea? Not at all. I'm going to try again, but this time I'm going to keep these goals in mind. 1, the cards need to stay in place no matter what. They can't fall out, they can't rattle around, they can't do nothing except sit there. 2, make the lid a single contiguous part. That way, I don't have to worry about friction or fragility getting in my way. And lastly, reintroduce that little gear functionality. As unnecessary as it might sound, I think it would be a lot of fun. And an addendum to that, learn how gears actually work. Just be warned, when I design something with the intention of using it, I tend to focus more on the function over the form, so it's probably gonna look a little ugly. On top of that, I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 of you in my audience who's looking at this and thinking, I can do better, and I'm sure you can. That's why I'm making the files for this initial design available for free on Thingiverse. Link in the description. For those of you slightly baffled by what you've just spent the past 4 minutes of your life watching, this is 3DD, or 3D Design Diary. The first in a potential recurring series of videos where I'll give you small updates on my 3D printer projects. To be blunt, I've got a lot of ideas. From making original tokusatsu-style changer devices to making a metal brace of my very own, not to mention all the props I can make for episodes of It Figures. And these are going to be shorter, more digestible videos that I can make on a more frequent basis. Just so the almighty algorithm doesn't forget that I exist. Anyways, until next time, this is Firebite27 over and out, and the next episode of It Figures will hopefully be on Metal Cardbot's Tacky. Goodbye.